Hi, my name's Savannah, and this is Team 10. This week, we reviewed Team 2 and their presentation on Starbucks and their foreign entry strategy. In this presentation, Sean will be giving us some key points from Team 2's presentation. Luke will then give highlights on what Team 2 did well, and then Jay will wrap up our conclusions by explaining some hiccups she noticed and some improvements this team should focus on in the future to enhance their performance.
In this week's video, our colleagues discuss Starbucks' foreign entry strategy and how the company looks overall worldwide. We begin by hearing just how big Starbucks has gotten, not just nationwide, but also worldwide. Starbucks is absolutely booming with more than 60 countries. These are huge numbers, especially for a company that was founded in 1971. Seeing as though people everywhere around the world love to drink coffee, Starbucks will keep expanding worldwide. Next, we see that although the price of Starbucks products does not really affect the people nationwide, we could see an impact in stores in less developed areas around the world. Lastly, we look at some of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of Starbucks, also known as a SWOT analysis. They went into depth about how Starbucks is currently the best at what they are doing, but they are not alone in this market. There are other companies that also make coffee that could outcompete Starbucks in the future. But as of right now, Starbucks is doing exceptionally, and we do not see that going anywhere anytime soon. Now on to Luke to discuss some of the highlights from our colleague's case study presentation.
My name is Luke Barrett. Today we're going to dive into some of the good things Team 2 did during their presentation. The first thing I thought they did well was their information. They explained what Starbucks was, how they've become successful, and what that looks like in today's market. Specifically, they discussed the resignation of CEO Howard Schultz and how the company will be affected. When the CEO resigns, oftentimes goals, plans, and visions change for a company. They also discussed how Starbucks uses their SWOT analysis and how they identify strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. They did a good job of explaining how they use these decisions to move themselves forward. Understanding the logic and positioning behind this explains why Starbucks does many of the things they do. Overall, I enjoyed this presentation, and at this time, I will hand it off to Jay, who will discuss some of the recommendations she has for Team 2. Thank you.
As with any presentation, there is room for improvement. Luke just highlighted what you did well, but let's take a second to focus on what could be better. Firstly, it sounded stilted and monotone, which could be improved on with more practice. Plus, whenever someone was done, it felt like a sudden cutoff, so the transitions could use some work. Mostly, I struggled with the formatting of your design. I prefer in general the readability of bullet points over paragraphs on slides. But even more than that, I wasn't a fan of the words on the slides being about the questions, not any information about what was being said. A visual guideline really helps your audience follow along. Finally, the workload felt unequal. Make sure everyone has equal time. I hope you find this criticism constructive. Now, let's go to Savannah to wrap up.
In this presentation, Sean talked about their key points and analysis by summarizing their rapid global expansion, people's love for coffee that contributes to their expansion, their high prices that still result in high sales, and then he gave an explanation of their competition. Then we heard from Luke, where he explained the highlights of this presentation and what Team 2 did well. He talked about how they addressed potential issues with CEO Howard Schultz as an example, explained how they had a good explanation about Starbucks' success, and they had a quality SWOT analysis that helped us understand more about Starbucks. Jay then talked about their improvements for Team 2, explaining that they could use a little more practice, their transitions were rough at times, there was no information on the slides besides questions, their images could be higher quality, and the workload was noticeably not equal. All of these points could contribute to the improvement of Team 2's deliverable, but the assignment as a whole was still good. Overall, Team 2 provided a solid analysis of Starbucks' history, their success, and the foreign market strategy. And if they continue to consider our feedback we provide, their quality of work will continue to improve.